tonight's main event.
Where's the Friday? G'day. Welcome to this Friday. This is Widowed Trio and Freedom. I'm Rob Birdsey. Welcome to my show. Sorry about that, but you can go to Widowed Trio and Freedom. Widowed, I'm a widowed dad. Trio, I have 2 boys. And Freedom is basically we're trying to free our minds and hopefully free yours too. So that's why we're doing it. I have a spectacular guest. It's a brand new friend, but I think it'll be a friend for till the end. Brooklyn Spencer Beard is an amazing person that speaks languages and knows how to carry a conversation and is just the salt of the earth. Welcome to my show.
Get out of here. You're too nice to me.
Spence, I love you. You're a good person.
Oh, thanks. I love you too, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Hey, how'd your show go last night? You do an improv thing, right?
Yeah, it was so much fun. So it was Western themed. It was This Show Ain't Big Enough for the 2 of us. And basically, yeah, we did a bunch of old Western themed games, and we had, the tracks playing like Big Iron, all those classics. And it was just super fun. There was a pretty good turnout. It was a good time to be on stage. Last show of the semester as well.
Oh, wow.
And one of the co-presidents, it was his last show. So just a lot of feelings, a lot of good times, good memories.
I'm so sad I missed that one, but I have little boys to put to bed, so...
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
There'll be more.
I have checked out one of them, and I actually think you guys are really good. You guys got some things going on there. So.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun.
Yeah, I like that. I'm just going to address. I have my arm is in a cast right now. I have torn my bicep tendon, and that's probably what you're seeing if you're seeing this until later on. Just to explain that, yeah, and yeah, this hurts actually. It's quite hurty.
You're kidding.
6 months of healing.
Guessed. Yeah, that's a long time.
6 months of no lifting anything more than 5 pounds, and then from 6 months, then you can start going for it. I don't know. That seems like it's going to be a road, eh?
Yeah, I mean, because when is that? Because what month was that? That was in March, no?
Oh, I just did this a week ago.
Oh, that was still in April?
Surgery.
Gosh, that feels like ages ago.
I know, it's a surgery, but when I did the actual damage was in January.
Okay, but the recovery time, that's not till October.
I know, man.
It's Halloween, man.
I know.
It's a long time.
I might celebrate it with taking the boys to Disneyland or something.
Yeah.
For Halloween, because I think that's cool.
Yeah, that would be rad. Party on, dude. I've never been to Disneyland because I've always lived in the Midwest, so I've been to Disney World once, but that was when I was like 10. It was a party, though.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I'm a pretty much of a go-getter when it comes to these places. Some people either really like my style or absolutely hate it, but I know how to get the most out of Disneyland. I've been there so many times, it's ridiculous. But I think it's just a good play. I mean, I spent a lot of time there with my wife when she worked for Disney and things like that, so we got to go there quite a lot. And the memories that we shared sort of have overtaken my life. Because before my late wife, I thought Disneyland was just good for kids, you know what I mean? But I didn't really understand the full value of it. Even though I grew up with Disney stuff, it didn't all solidify until later on. I could really just sort of soak it in and be like, oh yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm at right now. I don't really get it, I'm sure I got it when I was 10.
Sure.
But I guess, yeah, I just haven't heard a lot about it. I don't really know anything about it.
You like roller coasters though, right?
Oh, I love roller coasters. Big roller coaster girl.
So where you're at, that's where I was coming from when I first started doing theme parks and things, you know?
Yeah.
Because like I heard of Sandusky a long time ago. Like I heard about that place when I was in Australia. I'm like, that's the capital of the roller coasters of the world.
Cedar Point is the best.
Cedar Point.
Yeah, and I think, like, when I think of Disney World and Disneyland, I think of, like, baby roller coasters, and I'm into, like, the massive ones, that are crazy.
Yeah.
So I guess that's probably also where the disconnect is.
Yeah, and things will change for you too. Like the moment you have kids and you see their little eyes light up like, oh, this is the best. And it's a crappy little roller coaster, but it's all themed up really good. You know what I mean? It's just so satisfying. Like you'll do the whole day and exhaust yourself for all of it just to see them little kids smile. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
The fun thing for us when we go, it's like my wife has literally done work at that place. So I can go through and pick points out and say, that's mum's work there, it's over here, she did this for the Star Wars, she did with this, that, and it was just fun, you know what I mean? Like, fun to see them be like, wow, mom did that, you know?
Right, well, because Disney World is like a huge place. I mean, people come from all over the world
Disney
to go
World,
there.
yeah.
And so, yeah, to be able to see that there is, I feel like it could probably be inspiring for your kids,
Oh yeah.
Oh, you've got this in your blood. You can do this too, man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Sky's the limit.
Yeah, I've definitely been grooming them so when things will unlock, they'll have a gamut of they could use whatever they want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They know how to use their body now. I mean, Jack the other day did his first landing front flip, which
Oh, wicked.
man, you have no idea that my little boys, like, they started off as nerds, like they come out as nerds. You know what I mean? Like reading by crazy, like they're autodidactic. Well, not so much Cole, but definitely Jack. He's so hungry for it. He'll suss things out and go down the rabbit holes, and it's fun to see him grow like that. But as far as Cole, Cole's like,
Yeah.
but he's more chill about things too. So yeah, that's fun for them. It's all the stuff that she's done is in Disneyland. So Disney World is a whole new gamut, and that place is on its own. You do one land every day or whatever, right? So you got 4 to 5 days worth of craziness.
Yeah.
And they're huge.
Yeah.
But Disneyland is fun. The funnest thing that my wife's done in Disneyland that I just think is the coolest thing ever is they were working on Small World. And if you've ever gone through there, I don't know if you know about it or not, but
Kind of.
you basically you're traveling around the world, and then in the end you're in the celestial room and everything's white. So if that makes any point there, that's like a Mormon reference if I ever did meet one. But so there's a hippo that's in there, and they were refurbing everything. And back in the day, they would paint and then add glitter on the paint. Like, this is Walt Disney's way of doing things, because he wants everything to pop and be bright.
Right.
And Disney of now is like, let's cut everything, let's do everything cheap. And they were like, we're just going to use metallic paint, which is not fun. It doesn't look great, especially under those lighting in there. So my wife went backdoored the boss, ordered some glitter, got this certain red, and lit this, I think it's the hippopotamus with these red ruby lips with these bright metallic flick all the way through it, and that's all her.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
She got in trouble, and then like weeks later they're like, wait a minute, who did that, and how did you know about that? Because she researched it. That's where I think Jack gets from all that research stuff, because that's what Annie would do. She would come down to those little nitty gritties, and we could have a conversation. I'd just be curious about something, say it, and then she'd be just like, "Oh, this is because of this." I missed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have a Google ad in Annie, and it was amazing.
No, I do. I love when people are super, super passionate about things. Like, it could be shrimp, but if they know everything about shrimp, it's like the coolest thing ever. I'm like, yeah, I want to sit here and listen to you talk about it for forever. Because it's just so interesting, and to see them just get so into it and be so passionate about it, I agree. I think that's one of the coolest things ever. It's a great quality to have.
Yeah. So, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland, that's a tough little raggedy place, isn't it?
Not so much anymore, at least the west side. But yeah, I was actually born in Cedar City because both of my parents went to SUU, but we lived here for a couple months before we moved back in with, it was my mom's mom and dad. So I lived with my grandparents for a couple of years, and then eventually we moved out into a house, and they're all still in Cleveland. Everybody's still there.
Yeah, it's a good place though. I've got friends out there.
Oh, I love it
yeah,
there. I love it there so much. I'm excited to go back.
Yeah, that's funny. We were talking. I think the first conversation that you and I had. My experience of East Coast. Well, it's not really East Coast. It's, right. And your experience are two different things.
Yeah.
And I have to agree, yours is correct. But I think at the time of when I was going through there, I was going through in winter time and everything was drab and dreary. So I've painted the East Coast in my head with a grey brush.
Yeah.
And the West Coast, I've painted with so many different colors.
Which is the opposite for me.
Which is the opposite for you, and it's so valid, because if you go to anywhere in the East, I mean, especially like South Carolina and those sort of places, they're just gorgeously green, and trees and stuff everywhere. Like you're in tunnels most of the time. It feels like, but it's gorgeous. Where out here is just wide open. You'll see red rock, and then you'll see brown, and then you'll see more brown, and then you'll see red rock. I'm like, you're right. We don't have that many colors, but it just seems brighter out here for some unknown reason for me. Yeah,
I don't know why, but I love the green, and I love the humidity. I mean, I like the mountains here, but and granted, we don't have mountains in Ohio, but I just love seeing I guess the hills that are covered in green, or even, you know, when you go to different countries like in Latin America, they have those huge mountains, but they're covered in forest and jungle, so they're super green. And I love that. I love humidity. Like when I walk outside in Las Vegas, it just feels like somebody has a blow dryer in my face, and I can't stand that. I would much rather be like sweating.
Wow.
But I love when it's steamy outside. Like when I was in Honduras, and it would be like almost 100 degrees, pouring rain. Oh, I loved that.
Yeah.
I totally dug it. And I didn't even realize that that was something that I would miss. Like having lived out west for the past 2.5 years, I remember the first time I went back home during the summer, and it was like, I forgot what this felt like. It was so amazing to just have there be moisture in the air, not constantly be dry.
There's no joke about that too. And like, if anyone's never experienced the desert, like a proper desert, like I mean, you go in the shadows, it's cold, right? It's kind of fun. It's not bad. You can get out of the heat and all that sort of stuff. But I tell you, man, it dries everything out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I do miss like where I'm from Sydney. It's like that, you know.
Yeah.
And it's very much probably very similar to where you're at actually.
Even just like rainstorms. It doesn't rain here.
Doesn't not like that.
No, like right now, I know in Ohio, March through April, rain, 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 rain. And then, you know, afterwards we have all these beautiful plants and flowers and trees, and it's, oh, I love it. I love it so much. I miss it.
When we do have rainstorms here though, the desert does look amazing.
It's true. It's
Yeah.
true.
And I will Pepsi challenge your color palette for cruising down the Pacific Coast Highway in spring, right? As in early spring, down in California. The hills are just full of poppies and all sorts of stuff, and it's gorgeous. Like an array of between brown, your favorite color, and but like the bright oranges, and they have bright yellows, blues, and greens. Like like for I think it's like 2 months. It's so gorgeous.
Yeah.
Best drive if you ever want to do is in springtime down the Pacific Coast Highway, coming down from San Francisco to go to LA.
Yeah, I'm sure the
Gorgeous.
coast is so much different than how we're landlocked here. And I've only been to, I went to California when I was 2, and my parents took me to Alcatraz, which I'm still pissed about because I was a baby, so I don't remember it. And I would love, love, love to go there. But other than that, I went in January for a friend's wedding, and yeah, driving down there, I loved California. I thought it was super pretty, but I guess, yeah, that was in January. I'm sure it's even more beautiful when it's like now.
Yeah, no, but once it gets into the heat, it just turns into
Sure.
golden hills, right? And it's just dead plants. Yeah. So growing up out there, so you live with your grandparents for a little while, so you see some family ties. You're an LDS girl, I believe. You're right.
I am.
I love it, which is awesome because I think it teaches people in so many ways, so many different things, and the support and the love that you have around you is a good thing to have, right?
Yeah, I mean, my family is by far the most important thing to me. Gosh, I'm gonna cry. That's terrible.
Oh, wow, I love that.
And I'm so glad that we grew up so close. I had a lot of cousins growing up in Cleveland. My grandma and grandpa have always been there. And it's super nice because all my siblings are still home. So when I go home for the summer, I'll get to hang out with all them. But they just mean so much to me. Like my siblings, especially, they're my best friends. Even though, you know, we argue all the time and we always beat each other up, especially me and my sister. We tease each other all the time. But like I'll just randomly call her. I don't have anything to say. Sometimes we'll literally just sit on the phone in silence. I remember when I used to call my brother on my mission, we wouldn't even be FaceTiming, and we would just be on the phone in silence for hours. But it was just like having the other person there. And I love my family so much, and I'm super grateful for how close we are and all the time that we spend together.
So what is that? Do they call them the P days? Is that right on your mission?
Oh yeah, the
on your
preparation
P day?
days.
Yeah, that's so cool. It's sometimes it is that, you know, just hanging out with a person. Like it's good to get lost in those quiet moments. I value them so much when I have a conversation or having a conversation with a person whilst doing other things, and the conversation kind of dies out, but you're still doing the other things, and then you come back and you connect again. I feel like that's, wow, I just did that with you and we got through it. It's okay. With some people, you have like a quiet moment, you're like, oh,
right, it's like awkward silence and
be
it's
here right
anxious.
now.
Yeah.
Someone just shoot me. I like anything. Yeah.
Right.
Take me out.
Yeah. No, I think that there's such a special relationship with siblings because I mean, yeah, it's like you hate each other, but you love each other unconditionally, and there's no judgment. It's the best. I love my siblings so much.
That, now, I'm going to talk about that for 2 seconds. It's like it's a testimony towards parents. This is for parents, and a shout out to your parents. That's awesome, right? I've had great conversations with you. You know what I mean? I seriously love holding a conversation with you because it's kind of fun. To go out to them, what I've noticed with my boys, right? When you build that environment that it's safe enough for kids to come and talk, and it should be an open conversation, right? You should be able to go there and say anything to your parents, no matter how crazy it is, and they will be able to absorb it and help you through it, whatever the case it is. And that's the measure of people that are helping other people grow in this world. Because I've noticed with my boys that I've created an environment for them that they know they can step to me and they can drop super mad bombs, and I will hold myself accountable enough to hear them because they've had the stones enough to come and tell me about it. You know what I mean? And those times there build so much strength with communication within the family. And that's when you start defending anyone from outside that is corrupt and trying to come at you or trying to persuade you. But there's so many kids in this world that don't have that with their own family, and that breaks my heart. I hope one day that could be rectified.
Yeah. And I think that's something that I definitely did not realize, especially as a teenager. Mom, if you're watching, stop. I was totally sneaking around and just probably being in places and with people that I shouldn't have been. But I figured, I was like, oh, nobody's ever going to find out, so it's no big deal.
Yeah.
Whereas now, like, I call my mom all the time just to tell her everything.
Yeah.
I think I see both of my parents more as like people now than I did when I was younger. Especially now that I'm an adult, and to think that, you know, they were, well, not yet, but they were close to having kids at, you know, my age that I'm at right now. And just to think about them, you know, this is their first time doing everything too. And so you got to cut them some slack, because I think when I was younger, I thought they were, you know, like, they're supposed to know everything and they're supposed to be these perfect people in my life. And so when they would either mess up or they did something that I didn't like, or I would get punished, I would get super pissed at them. But now I realize, you know, it's like they're just testing different things out, seeing what works, and I need to be a part of that process, not somebody who's being hostile in that environment, trying to shut everything down, but trying to work with them and just trying to be their friends, you know, trying to be homies with my parents, because they are. One thing that I've realized, gosh, I did not expect to get emotional on this. They're both really cool people, man. Yeah. I love them.
The funny thing too, you just touched on something that's actually been hitting me quite a bit, and has definitely been in my therapy talks with my therapist and stuff like that with my boys. Like, to be able to have that, to be able to bring that into it, you know what I mean? Like, you can't, it's so hard and so rare to skim over it is not worth it. And like you said your parents tried everything to get you to do certain things. I mean, I've swung everything at it. You know what I mean? Like, it's so hard and so tricky. And then sometimes you come across something within your personality that unlocks it. You know what I mean? And it could be something that's dear or valuable or whatever. Hey, if you do that, we'll give you this doll, or whatever the case is, and it changes your world. And then, you know, and it's up to a good parent to take the time to do that. I do, like, I call it the 3-second rule, right? When my kids say something to me, I count to 3. I've been working on this, but this is my most recent trying to deal with stuff. And they come up and drop bombs on me, or they just say something and they think nothing of it. Hey, you know, and it's something crazy, and it's like, just a second,
right?
give me a second, and I count to 3, and the first thing I got to acknowledge is that he had enough courage to come and tell me something that he knows he did wrong, right? So yeah, I want to get mad? Of course I do, but at the same token, you got to reward that. And when you do reward that, you'll get more of that. So then you start understanding, and they understand to tell you the truth. People don't do that. They just, like what you said, usually it's working it out, and they explode, and then everything just falls apart because now you got a pissed off parent that's got all the gusto in the world. That doesn't work. You know, where I would say majority of the world probably ekes from that language there, which doesn't produce anything but shutdown.
Yeah.
So much to
it's
change.
true. It's true. And I mean, another thing that I've realized is that it's so different for every kid, like how you parent. Because, I mean, yeah, sure, they're all siblings, but like me, I am totally the black sheep in my family. I'm so different from my other siblings. And yeah, they're all like into sports and like just, I guess really sports. That's all I can think of. They're all super into sports. But, and I mean, I like sports. I have a good time, but I'm definitely more focused on the arts. And then my younger brother, Nolan, he's like crazy about like health and fitness, and he just reads a ton. And my younger sister, she's super into fashion. And my brother, he's, you know, trying to go play baseball at Dixie. So yeah, we're all siblings, but we're all so different. And we all, I guess, just deal with things differently and have different levels with our emotions. And so as a parent, you have to, I think, kind of cater things to the needs of your different children. It's not just a one-size-fits-all, because they're all different, and they all are going to react differently and respond differently.
That's hard to do. It's so hard. Like, I struggle all the time, and it's taken me a solid 2 years to even realize I've got to do that. You know what I mean? I come out of, I mean, I was never home. I was always working. My wife did everything. Like, people would say to me, actually, when she first passed away, "Oh, your kids are so good. You're such a good dad." I would stop them in their tracks and say, wait a minute. My wife just passed. I have done nothing with these kids except for be a weekend warrior dad, right? But now I'm here full time. So let's give it 2 years and let's see where they're at.
Yeah.
I'm proud to say that my kids are amazing. You know what I mean? Like, they really are going for it. And there's been many moments where I'm not proud of, you know what I mean? But we got there. Where I've had moments where I haven't thought too wisely of the situation, and I sort of explode. And it's so easy for a man to just be like, "Rah!"
Yeah.
You know? It's like, that's what we are a very practical people, but everything's got to be practical around us. You know what I mean? And when it comes to kids, they are not practical.
No.
They push every button. You know what I mean? And that's the rub right there, because now you think it's a personal attack, and I have to deal with that. And therapy's amazing. Thank you so much. You know what I mean? Like, and they're the things that you need to do to be able to be that person.
Yeah.
So tricky.
No, I remember all throughout my childhood, all throughout my high school years, my mom was always babysitting kids, because yeah, my dad, he'd be out working, and then my mom, she would just have, it was either my friends, my siblings' friends, or just other random people. We always had so many kids in our house. And I remember, yeah, when I got to like high school, I was helping out with that, or they would just contact me for a weekend and say, "Hey, can you watch our kids?" Like, we would have at least 10 kids in our house at all times, every single morning before school. And then we'd all walk to school, and then we'd all come home, and, you know, my mom, she'd have like cookies or banana bread or something made for all of us. But I think those experiences definitely taught me a lot about patience, because there was a lot of babies in our house all the time. And I think it gave me, it just gave me a lot of admiration for my mom, because, I mean, yeah, she would be home alone with 10 kids at least. That's crazy. And she just had so much patience. She knew how to deal with them, and she could be present and individual with all the kids, while still like making all of our school lunches and making sure that we were all dressed properly. And yeah, it taught me a lot about, I think, what I want to do when I'm a parent, and just gave me a lot of respect and admiration for my mom.
I love that. Yeah, but I'm gonna just say, as far as men and women go, you guys do that so well. Like, you have sympathy, sure, compassion. Do you know what I mean? I find that most women out there, let's say most, because there are some that don't, but there are a lot of women out there that do have that. And especially when you're first dating, and a woman shows you that side of her, oh my goodness, that just lights me up. You know what I mean? Like, that's the best feeling ever. Because now, you know, it's like, now you're seeing the goodies that are coming for the future. If you're going to stay with that person,
right.
This is how they're going to treat you. You know what I mean? That's huge.
Yeah. One thing that I've learned about dating, which I haven't done a lot in Utah, just, I have my own reasons for that, but
Good.
is the importance of finding somebody that you want your kids to be like. Because, yeah, I mean, you could, go out with somebody that you're attracted to, but if they're a jerk or if they just have things that you don't like, it's like, yeah, those are the genes that you're putting into your future children. And so I think it's important, yeah, to find somebody who's, compassionate towards you, but also towards everybody else, and just somebody who has the qualities that you want your future children to have.
I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they sort of touched on this about like how things are happening for the future now. There's a lot of women, we're coming into a society where marriage isn't the main thing right now.
Yeah.
So women are dating two different levels, right? And this is actually happening. Two minds. There's a word for it, but I'm missing it up. So I'm sorry if anyone knows out there. Sorry. But what it is naturally, as a caveman, we want the strongest, baddest person that can protect us as best we can, right? So that's why whenever we look at someone and they're chiseled and they're ripped and they got a body and they all the goody bits, our internals are like, yeah, I want that. Same for men, you know what I mean? It happens for all of us, the same, I believe. So women spotting guys like that, taking note of where they are, where they have the strong, good genes, and then they're looking for men that have dad bods, that are reliable, you know what I mean? Like, and they're combining the two. Like, some women are secretly going out, getting those genes and making him raise it. I mean, I'm sure it's been going on for a long time, but it seems to be more prevalent now and more people are talking about it.
Well, I also just think that people see marriage as like a prison. And I mean, there's a Seinfeld episode about it. I love Seinfeld. But yeah, Jerry's talking about this girl and he's like, yeah, like I think I really might want to settle down with her. And Kramer comes in and says, that's a prison, man. And he's like, you can't do this, this, and this anymore. And so I think that a lot of people just aren't seeing marriage as something like another step of life. They're seeing it as somewhere where your life ends. And where you lose your freedom, you're like, oh, I can't go and do these things alone anymore. I always have to have this person with me. I think it's a drag. And so they want to keep that, like, all the benefits of having a relationship, of having marriage, without any of the commitment. I think that's what's happening a lot today.
And it's hurting. It's I don't think it's great at all. I think there's something to be said about, what, my relationship. Me and Annie, we would go everywhere together. Half the time, dude, we were working with ourselves. I mean, I was making our money just creating it out of nothing. I would just find work and go for it. And I had a crew when she first met me, and dude, I fired that crew within a week. You know what I mean? And she's like, I'll just come work with you. I'm like, all right, let's go. You know what I mean? And she was a great worker. But to share those moments and to build that bond, like, that was building for us. So by the time we went to LA and chased dreams of being actors and designers and stuff like that, we were solid as far as who we were with each other. You know what I mean? We were able to have that platform and to know that we were solid. And every weekend was a blessing for us to go hang out, go to Disneyland, kick it, you know what I mean? That, to me, to go explore and to have that opportunity it's so beautiful. This is the hardest thing about dating, though. I mean, and it's fun. I've seen people around you and I see how men act. It's quite, you're very alluring. You're almost like a siren or something to them. I have no idea why. But that's true, right? You get a lot of guys hitting on you. Is that correct?
I did just have somebody draw a portrait of me the other day.
Wow.
And he bought me roses. But then we argued for half an hour because I told him, I'm not interested in you. And he said, no, but I know you are. And I said, I promise you I'm not. So, I go through it every now and again.
Yeah. Well, and I'm not trying to boast you about this. I just think it's very interesting, and it'd be so convoluting in a way. When I was younger, it was a very similar thing for me too. In many ways, I did all sorts of stuff, right? To see people coming up and throwing themselves and, having all those options, it just convolutes everything. Now you don't know who they really are, what they're about. It's like, how are you supposed to get to know that person to know if you want to be with them?
And that's what I told him. When we were arguing, I said, sometimes it feels like you're trying to, like, buy me or compliment me into, being interested in you. And I'm like, it's not gonna work on me. I'm telling you right now, it won't.
Could I give that guy just a hint about you? I'll give you a hint.
He doesn't speak English. Just heads up.
That's cool. I don't mean for any guy that's out
I'll translate.
there. Let's tell any guy that's out there, really. When it comes to any woman whatsoever, first thing of all, we have two ears and we have one mouth. So shut up. Ask a question and listen. And really listen, you know what I mean? Because that changes the world of everything. And she's going to mention like, oh, back when I was a kid, I really loved Astro Boy. And you'd be like, Astro Boy's cool, awesome. And then something happens and they have a birthday, but you don't have much money, but you have enough money to order a stupid little Astro Boy off Amazon, and it costs you $4. And you give that as a gift, and you wrap it up, not in wrapping paper, and don't put it in a stupid bag either, because that just pisses me right off. Everyone's buying a $10 bag to give a present. You know what? Wrap it in some wrapping paper, like what they do back in the day. Oh, that's right, newspaper.
Yeah.
Newspaper wrap stuff. Did you know that, guys? It's so fun to do it. And then when you show it up, and if you want to be real tricky, you could pick the comics out and put them on top. Oh, it's so tricky. You can make them look pretty. You know what I mean? I'm so broke. That's what I have to do every time. Every single time we go to a party, my kids show up with this ghetto box, and my kids hated it at first, and everyone now is like, "Dude, that's so cool."
Yeah.
They think it's cool.
No, it is cool. I agree. I love it. I think there's so much more. It means so much more with the time that is put into a gift than the price. You know, being able to receive something that is really well thought out, that this person put a lot of thought and intention into this thing and a lot of effort means so much more than the price tag.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I agree.
Drawing a picture is pretty cool.
It was a really good. He made me look good. I did look good, and I tried not to take it. I said no, stop. I said I don't want this. Stop it.
That's how
he
sees you.
Threw it in my car as I drove away. So
give it to your mum. She'll love it.
Right.
She'll love it forever, and that'll be the best thing ever. And when you go there, it'll be a moment that you'll share in life forever, and it'll be the red flag lesson you'll learn for life. Right.
So
don't
true.
take that lesson. So how to do if you'd liked Astro Boy? How would something like that be for you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, exactly. It would mean so much
Yeah.
more because, again, just the thought and it's the paying attention, I really do think that it's the little things that matter the most because it's like, yeah, I just told you that one time. It's a small, insignificant detail about my life. But the fact that you remembered it,
Ching.
exactly, it's so important and it makes it just that much more special.
I've almost missed the top of the hour, but you're at KSUU. And we're in Cedar City, and you're listening to our radio station, Thunder 91, and thank you for doing so. I hope you're enjoying this conversation. We're going to go until 11 o'clock. Good luck. So, you love the East Coast. Well, Midwest. Is that Mid-East? I don't know.
Yeah, Mid-East, I guess.
Mid-East?
I think it's the last state in the Midwest, Ohio is, because once you get to Pennsylvania, that's the East.
Oh, that's the East. Yeah, that's straight up East. Yeah, that's hard. Do you travel around there and check out the history and stuff like that? Have you guys done history runs?
I mean, I have. I used to do any time that I had a day off of work, I was like, okay, I'm going to go do a day trip somewhere. And so, I lived an hour from Amish country, or there was the prison where they filmed Shawshank Redemption. I loved going there, and that was also only an hour from my house. I could go down to Columbus, I could go over to Pittsburgh, or I would go to Indiana, go up to Wisconsin. I loved to travel and just go on little day trips all the time.
Yeah. No, I think it's good. It's so especially the East Coast. You can see so many things, man. Like, I did a tour years ago, but it was just like melting of bullets, on top of a mountain and just dropping them off. By the time it'll hit the water down the bottom, it'll be a perfect circle and good to shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's still those bullets around there all over the place.
Yeah, that's so crazy. Cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
The other thing about out east, I feel like, anyways, from my experience, is that here everything is so spread out. Like, especially from Cedar City, if you want to get up to Salt Lake, you can go there. It's going to take you 4 hours, and there's going to be just about nothing in between there. Whereas I'm just going to use Ohio as an example because I know it so well. You go from Cleveland 2 hours, you're in Columbus, and all through there's all kinds of different towns. And then same thing, even from Columbus to Cincinnati. Those are like the two big cities, but in between there's still so much more going on. And so I think there's just so much more to see in terms of cities and different cultures around there, whereas out here it's a lot more about landscape and nature, which they're both good, but to me the city is definitely, it has a lot more of a pull.
Yeah. The other thing I'll add to that, have you seen Back to the Future?
Oh,
Thank you.
of
Thank you.
course, absolutely.
That. I appreciate that.
I love those movies. I just love Christopher Lloyd. I love him.
Yeah, I mean, they're all amazing, actually. I think that was such a great movie to grow up with. But the funny thing about that is, obviously, that's shot in Universal Studios. But that main area there, that's every little town in America. And that's what, like, anyone that's, I know I have friends that will watch this. And it's like, that's the thing that blew my mind, is when I first started to drive through these little towns, especially on the east side of things. You would drive in there and they would have the same thing. It would be like, I'm like, there's Back to the Future. Here's Back to the Future. Here's back. Like, I wish I took photos of every town I went through, because they all look the same, or they all look similar, you know?
It's true. But at least what I've experienced is going to those different places. They're all, you know, especially in a smaller town, like a small town America, there's not a lot of like chain shops. There's a lot of mom and pop, just a lot of different unique places.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the only one in the world. You know, you can't get what they're doing there anywhere else. And I love that so much. I love that individuality that you find in a smaller town.
Yeah. I agree. We're doing a documentary at the moment on the Bullock drug place here.
Yeah.
And that's the same deal. Like, they go out of their way to make sure that no one else carries what they carry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's extremely smart. You're building an automatic moat around you. People will either come to you because you're different, or they'll come to you because you got the masses. So they're either broke or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
But I remember just loving going, and I would just those little town squares. I would just park my car and go walk around them, go in all the different little places, and it was so fun to see just how differently people lived at different places, and to hear their stories, you know, of how, oh, we've had this business for, you know, X amount of years in our family, and it was the coolest thing. I loved it.
My grandpappy started this business
Exactly.
way back in 1798.
Yes, exactly.
No, it's fun. It's yeah. So, what created? So you got lots of support from your parents. You didn't really get into sports, although you do like volleyball.
Yeah.
That's one that you really jump at. What? Growing up as a kid, and you're starting to notice that you're different, right? You definitely shine different. You shine bright though. Those are the moments where you're starting to see, hang on a minute, I've got something better than that guy. Or different, not so much better, but just different. And you're leveraging things in a different way. When did that sort of start taking hold?
I think instantly, kind of, because I played everything when I was younger, because just both my parents are super into sports. Really, our whole family is like extended included. And so that was just like what we were doing. And I remember I would tell my mom, I'd be like, Mom, I don't want to go to soccer practice. I don't want to play basketball anymore. And I was also just really shy as a kid. So I didn't have a lot of friends on these teams. And it was I just hated going. I didn't really talk to anybody there, and my coaches were always yelling at me, because I was like, I'm skinny now, but I was really, really, really skinny like my whole entire life. And so I was always really tall, but like I said, I was thin as a rail. And so I would just get pushed around, especially in basketball, because I was always a post. They always put me down on the block just because I was super tall, but I would get put up against girls who were as tall as me, but like at least 50 pounds heavier. And so I would just get chucked around in there, and I would always get yelled at, be more aggressive, you know, do more, box them out. And I'm like, I'm trying. And I mean, that probably lasted, until my sophomore year of high school. That was when I really was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I've been doing this for 10 plus years, and I just don't want to do it anymore. And so my mom said, okay. And then I got a job. But I think it was after my mission that I started to kind of get back into it. And so I'm grateful for those experiences that I had when I was younger, because they gave me kind of a basis. Like, now I love to go play volleyball. Next week I'm going to go play soccer with my friends. Over the summer, I always play soccer every single week. And so it's something that I enjoy a lot more now. And also I think now that I've grown a little bit more into my body, I have a little bit more meat on my bones, which makes it easier to kind of get in there. And I'm not as scared of the ball anymore. I think I definitely used to have that as well. I'm a lot more aggressive now, which is great. But I think when I was younger, it was just really difficult for me to be in those environments, because I mean, you had just everybody yelling at you from the stands. You heard your coach, your ref. And there was actually one time, I think I was in 8th grade, and I didn't make the school team because I was sick as a dog during tryouts. Like, I was just feeling awful, but I went anyways just because I was told that I had to. And so I went and I tried out, and I just bombed. So I got put on the rec team, right, the recreational team, and my teammates sucked. It was so bad. I mean, we were just getting beat every single game. And I remember one time, I think I was the only person who had scored any points, and it was only like 10, and we were just getting destroyed. And I was like yelling at my teammates. I was like, come on, like pass me the ball. And it just wasn't working. And at one point I did. I got the ball, and I was so frustrated, I just slammed it on the ground and ran out. And then just like everybody like went quiet and was like, what? And I remember I was just bawling. I was just crying. And so I think that was probably also a moment when my mom realized, like, oh, okay.
You're pushing into something that she doesn't want to be a part of.
Yeah, exactly. But like I said, I kept with it for a couple more years and then was like, hey, I'm going to stop now. And then I did. I started to get into theater, and I would do a lot more with the arts, and I just really fell in love with that. Yeah. And I felt like I belonged so much more in that community. It was easier to make friends there. I felt so much more like myself there. You know, I didn't have to be this like super aggressive projecting person when I didn't feel like that. And so I think that also that point in my life is when I became a lot more outgoing, because I was a lot more comfortable and confident in myself.
Yeah, I like that. You touched on a little bit with the ball, which I think is phenomenal, right? What you were just talking about kind of enlightened me in a way of, even when I did ball sports and things like that, you know, getting the ball it freaked me out. Yeah. Because then it's like, as soon as the ball hits you, there's a big
all
spotlight.
eyes.
And
exactly.
everyone's just like focused on you. And I even watched some kids, like they don't really talk about it. They don't know how to talk about it. Especially like when you're taking the ball somewhere, like it's all on you. You know, that's tricky. Soccer, you can sort of defend and kick away and all that sort of stuff, but when it's basketball and stuff like that, it's like a leveraging. It's so much pressure. Yeah. So for you to crack at that moment and to do the walk, you're like a raw nerve, and which most kids don't even comprehend. They don't have the stamina or the understanding to even understand. Their body's like drawing lines. Your body drew the line, so you went, yeah, I'm drawing the line too. We're done.
It's true. Well, and I think especially because I was so shy, it was really difficult for me to be like vulnerable in front of a ton of people when I had that ball, and it was like all eyes are on me. If I mess up, like everybody's gonna hate me. And so it was just so much pressure, and for me to be in the spotlight that I really did not want to be in. Yeah, it was really frustrating and nerve-wracking for me.
Very interesting. So then you started doing, so what age were you? You said sophomore when you started doing the theater stuff?
So I was a sophomore when I said I don't want to do basketball and volleyball for the school anymore. And so then I got a job, and I was always wanting to do theater, but I was always so nervous about it because I never really been on stage either. So it wasn't actually until my senior year that I finally got the guts to be able to be in a production. And then of course COVID happened, so I didn't get to do it, but I bombed that audition as well. I had never auditioned for anything before. I didn't know what the audition process was like. I was meant to memorize a song and a dance. I didn't do that. So I got there and they put everybody up on the stage and they said dance, and I said, I don't know what I'm doing. I was just trying to go along with them. And then I remember I borrowed somebody's sheet music. I went in there and I had listened to the song just a couple times beforehand. And I went in there and I was expecting them to play an audio track of the song, like a karaoke, but it was just somebody on the piano. And when a song doesn't sound exactly how it does on the recording, it is so difficult for me to know what song it is. And so I remember at first they started playing on the piano and I just stood there for like a minute and I was like, I have no idea when I'm supposed to come in. I don't recognize this at all. And so then I asked my teacher, I said, can we just do it again? I said, yeah, no problem. And so I just guessed. I came in someone random. I didn't know the tune I was supposed to be singing at. I was mostly just talking. And so I ran out of that audition. I tossed the sheet music back at the person. And I just started crying again. And I just ran and I just drove. And I was meant to be at work in like 10 minutes. And so I called my manager because I was way far away from home now. And he said, first thing he says is, hey, how'd your audition go? And then he just hears me crying. And I was like, oh, Anthony, it was so terrible. And he said, okay. He said, no worries. I said, I'm going to be late to work. He said, you're good. Take your time. And so I've always wanted redemption from that moment. And I've never been in any like real theater production since then. Of course I do improv, but that's so much different than having to memorize lines. And so somebody from the improv group it's just for their directing final. But I'm going to play Romeo in Romeo and Juliet, and I am so excited about it because I feel like it's my chance at redemption, even though it's just going to be in front of a small audience, and yeah, it's just for her final. It's going to be like a 20-minute production maybe. I'm excited about it because yeah, I feel like this is my chance.
Yeah, I want to bring the boys. We're going to come and see this.
Yeah, it'll be awesome.
This is fun. I've done this before. This particular show that you guys doing.
It's so fun.
Lightning quick.
It's
Yeah,
so fun.
It's fast paced and off you go. How did the lines go? Did you learn lines? What'd you do?
So that's the thing. Our first rehearsal was on Monday.
Ouch.
And we perform on Monday. So we have a week. I've been trying to memorize the lines. Obviously, with this show, there's some improvisation that you can do, which is great.
You just need to get the structure around it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then there's just like some specific sonnets that I need to memorize that are like really, really important to have down. So it's been a process. I've been trying to, I was doing what you said. I've been actually in the back of my script, I just have like all the first letters of the sonnets written down, the first letters of each word. And so I've been trying to memorize them that way. I also got an app where, I can go back and forth. I've been getting my roommates and I'm like, here, take this script and we'll go back and forth. So I've been trying really hard to learn all these lines in such a short amount of time. So I guess we'll see what happens on Monday with the final product.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, as soon as, like, at the moment I would get anything come in, especially if it was for an audition, usually you'd get an audition and it's either that day or the next day or go there yesterday. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's when they want you. So it's super mega hard. So as soon as I get a script, that's the first thing that I do is do the first letter of every word. And I write that out as quick as I can. And then I'll jump on Line Learner, like there's an app called Line Learner, and I'll voice all. I change my voice all the time because it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
So I throw in like a bit of an accent, just whatever, random, and then go for it. But then I would just it's almost obsessive. Like if you live in LA, this is what they do. Like you have no idea. If you think you're gonna go there and be lazy, like I almost feel like, well, looking back at half the stuff I did, I was lazy, and I wasn't lazy. You know what I mean? So they work so hard to do it, and like, yeah, once you get the lines down proper, like you have so much freedom. Yeah. Because then you're just like, you're right on that cutting edge of that, and if you're still up in your head like, oh, I don't know what to say, you've just ruined that performance for everybody and for yourself. Right.
Well, and that's been the kind of difficult thing for me is that I didn't anticipate how difficult it would be to try and learn all the actions while trying to know my lines. Like, we'll get up there and we'll do a scene and I have my script in my hand and I'm trying to find out where we are, but we're also doing all these different movements. And so it's difficult to do both of those at the same time. So right now, I'm really grinding, trying to memorize my lines so that way I can go in and just focus on purely what I'm going to be doing physically.
Yeah. Yeah, and have the freedom for that. Yeah, lots of abbreviations. At this word right here, I turn to my left, so it's an L there above it. Things like that.
Yeah.
Like for your stage direction.
Yeah, or even knowing where to exit, where I'm entering, all these different things.
Yeah. Have you ever seen Robin Williams?
Yeah, sure.
Perform on anything? Like most times he's very much an improv guy, right?
Yeah.
They would say, oh man, he's such a genius. And the camera guy would say, yeah, if he's so much of a genius, why doesn't he hit his marks? He never hit his marks anywhere he went. But he was that funny doing things. They actually put on 3 more cameras and just chased him around everywhere.
That's so awesome.
That's in that Mork and Mindy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so, yeah, I think it's a bit of both. You know what I mean? If you can get... If you have to be somewhere at a certain moment for a scene, so you know what I mean, like it's you go and do that sort of stuff. Make sure you hit those moments, but in between is all yours. Take the time.
Yeah.
They call those spending drama dollars, right?
Yeah.
Don't spend them until you're ready to, and if you have the freedom, spend them all the way, because that's when the fun part of you comes out.
Right.
Because you'll have all the technical stuff down, but then when you go to play and really have fun, you can just let it go. And you've got a lot to give too. So
I know, we'll see.
This should be fun. I mean, and this is a crash course. This is a fun play to do. You're in the right environment to do what you're doing right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I do. The 2 people who I'm also acting with are so great. And one of them, so Juliet, knows the script to like back and forth. They've done the show before. And then the narrator, which was originally supposed to be my role, but then it got switched last minute and I was Romeo and I was like, okay, I wasn't prepared for this, but I guess we're going for it. He's also part of the improv group, and so we know each other pretty well. It's just a really fun cast that I'm working with. And yeah, Zina, the director, she's great. So I think it's going to be fun and it's going to be good regardless. Zina was talking and said, if you mess up a couple things, no big deal. Just brush it off, keep going. So I think that, regardless, it's going to be a good time.
Run with the gist.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when you throw your improv into it.
Right.
The moment you just run with that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like, and even my improv coach, Scotty, he would even say to me, like, we had a performance, and I'm like, man, I need to go to the toilet so bad. He goes, use it. I'm like, I'm on stage for half an hour. He's like, yeah, use it. I'm like, no, I need to go. He's, no, use it. And he pushed me on stage, and I was like, you freak out at all sorts of things when you're just about to perform. But if you find any comfort whatsoever you can, use it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Uncomfortable, whatever the case is, this is going, there's a rock in my shoe, use it.
Yeah.
And let it play out. Just have fun, man.
Yeah.
That's what you do anyway in life. It's fun to see you be you. You're such a natural at being yourself. And I wish that we could all take a lesson out of that and understand, like, you don't convolute anything. Everybody that's around you knows exactly where they stand with you, right?
It's true.
If you don't like them, they probably know about it. If you like them, they would definitely know about it. You know what I mean? And I don't... this is where I think where a lot of guys around here get confused, because it's so breathtaking to see someone that's just raw, and you're going through it just like all of us, and you understand that better than most. You know what I mean? So you do life the way you do, and these guys are seeing this, and it's like you're losing your mind. Like, this woman's an awesome chick, right? There's no guessing with you, and I think that's where we get all convoluted with trying to go on dates and trying to learn who they are.
Sure.
And we get you see someone that's super mega gorgeous and just floating. Everything that you love about them is all to do with their looks. It's probably a bad scenario, guys.
Yeah. Well, and it hasn't always been this way for me. I mean, I was a late bloomer in every single sense of the word. It wasn't until I got into college, in community college in Cleveland, that I really felt like I started to grow into myself and find out who I was and the things that I liked and the person that I wanted to be. And then even that developed so much more when I served my mission for the church. I think before then, I don't know if the right word is I didn't have my emotions in check. I just wasn't... I could be mean sometimes, which was not cool. But I think going on my mission, it taught me so much about having charity and just love for other people. And so now I'm at a point in my life where, it is so difficult to get me to dislike you. Like, you would have to do something crazy. I don't know, dishonor on me, dishonor on my family, dishonor on my cow type thing.
Wow.
Because I think that nobody is inherently bad, and you just have to... The world needs so much more love. We're living in such a time of just hatred and division. And it's like, even if somebody does something that you don't like, just who cares? It doesn't mean that they're a bad person. And I think a lot of times we hear different rumors about people, and then you automatically, before you even meet them, you make an assumption about them, which I think is so lame. It's just, I think it's good to give everybody multiple chances. Obviously, there's a point where, you need to stop and put your foot down. But I think that we can get caught up a lot in just the mistakes that people make, and then put all the bad things that we've seen them do ahead of all the great things that they do. And so I think that regardless of sexuality, political orientation, religious affiliation, there's so many labels that we put on people that divide us automatically without even getting to know the other person. And I think that human connection goes on so much more beyond that, beyond those labels that, are just outward facing towards the world all the time. And I think it's so important to look past those and to get to know the actual person behind those labels.
I love that. If I could put that in a nutshell, I had Ken Hall on here a few weeks back, and he said, and I think it's one of the greatest quotes, he said, I think the best thing you could do for people and the people that are around you and you're working with is treat everybody as if they're going through something, because they probably are.
Yeah, everybody is,
you know what
all
I mean?
the time.
And you show someone just that little bit of grace, like, it changes everything in there. Like, when someone treats you less than, I know everybody in this school that has treated me less than. I have their face in my head. They're burnt in my retinas. I understand who they are. I don't like them. You know what I mean? but I will remember them forever. So thank you, people. I know who you are, right? But now I know who you are, and now I know what to do with you, because you're not showing any compassion for the world. You're just showing, the only compassion you're showing is for yourself and the agenda that you push. That to me is a sad scenario.
Yeah.
When you really get behind people and just show them just a little bit, it just helps, you know, and it makes you feel good. You have a good interaction with someone, oh wow, you feel good. Someone puts a bit of crap on your days. This is what happens when someone's just dropping major bombs on you and ruining your day or whatever the case is because they're having a bad day. You have two choices. One of them is you could take that crap and you can make it more and stew over it, and then you could build it up even bigger and you could make 10 more people feel crap out of that. Or you can take it and you can swallow it, and it's the hardest thing to do. And then you can understand that that person's going through something that you have no idea about, right? So cut them some slack first, because they're not cutting themselves some slack. They're just throwing it on everybody else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when you find that type of compassion, I think that you'll get to where you are, you know what I mean? Which is an awesome place.
Yeah. And well, like I said, it's been experiences throughout my life. Specifically, I think my mission was probably the biggest one. But also, and this is maybe a stupid example, but like watching movies like The Breakfast Club, I love that movie so much. And it taught me so much about, you know, just not looking at what's on the surface. And because like you said, everybody's going through something. And usually the people who are going through the hardest times, you know, they're probably going to be the most irritable, you know, the most on edge. And so it's just important to just love those people and to give them, you know, cut them some slack. Because, they're going through really hard things. And it's just important to be friendly to everybody, regardless of the setting that you're in. I remember I used to do that when I was younger. I was the worst as a kid. And, you know, I would treat some people really nice in one place when we were in one environment, but then, you know, we get to school and we're walking through the hallway and I see them and I don't say hi because I'm like, oh, I don't want people to know that I'm friends with you. Whereas now, I mean, it's like, gosh, I've really changed. It's like total 180, where now I want to say hi to everybody, regardless of whether I know them or not, because it's nice just to have friends. You know, I want to have as many friends as I can. And I'm a pretty eclectic person. I have tons of different interests. And so I fit into a lot of different groups and I can connect with a lot of different people. And so I make a lot of friends individually, and I've been doing this for years. I make a lot of friends individually, right, where I'm there, you know, we're the mutual friends, and then I bring them all to my house, and I make them all me, and it is so much fun, because they're all just so different, but we all connect, and we all have a good time, and then, you know, they make friends within that group, and it's just the best. I love having friends who are so different from all different walks of life, and being able to just bring all these people together and just show them, you know, we're all cool. We're not really that different. We're all cool, and we can all get along.
Yeah, I've been doing that my whole life. I've always been a floater as a person to go from group to group to group to group. I've always been curious about everybody. You know, some people are like, some people you don't, whatever. You know, sometimes you meet people and your brain just doesn't like them for whatever reason. It's kind of weird. But I love to get in amongst that and understand it. So, yeah, like every time I have thrown a party, I mean, you just came to my birthday party.
Yeah.
We're all different, right? We're all different. But at the end of it, solid people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have set a standard in my life now where I'm just not. You know, I will put the people that carry me through and the people that I help, you know, I mean, like if you're not an add to scenario into my world, then you're a see you later. You know what I mean? And I think that's okay, because you're meant to be with someone else. You're meant to do other things, you know, and I think that's healthier than trying to flog a dead horse.
Yeah, and I mean, it's important to just surround yourself with people who are going to build you up. You know, surround yourself with people who you like and who like you. You know, not trying to, I guess, put on this facade, maybe is the word, and pretend that you like these people and really, you know, you hate their guts. It's like, that's not doing good for anybody. So like I said, there's definitely a line where it's like, okay, if, you know, this isn't gonna work out ever, we're just not gonna get along, we're gonna clash, then it's probably, better if we just go our separate ways. But that doesn't mean, you know, that I hate that person. You know, you can still be nice to them. It's just, you know, you're not gonna click in that setting, and that's okay. You know, we're not meant to get along with everybody. I you said earlier that you either people really like you or they really don't like you, and I'm the same way. I have a lot of people that love me, and I have some people who just think that I'm the worst, and that's okay. It's meant to be that way. We're not meant to have everybody like us. That's why we're all different. That's why there is diversity, because we get along with different people, and we're meant to get along with different people. Because I think that's what brings us joy, is the like-minded people that we meet up with, and the people who love us and who we love.
Yeah, but you'll get further down the road. You'll travel farther. You know what I mean? You'll have people that support you, and building that around you is so imperative for the future of where you want to be. And that's part of the reason why you're at school. Like half the people here, it's. I was just talking before with Jackson. Is like we're in a cohort. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't make any sense for us all not to get along. You know what I mean? Like we should all be helping each other rise. But yeah, we have this stupid divide in this place, and there's a bunch of people on one side and a bunch of people on the other side, and it doesn't make any sense at all. And we're all here doing the same thing, or trying to get to the same place where we want to be. So I don't know. For me, it's a sad scenario, because you could do a lot for them, and they could probably do a lot for you too. One day they will work it out. Who knows? Either way, I love helping people. I see the thing. It was one part of my life where I didn't really like helping people, and when I really got into the nitty gritty of that, and I was looking into it, is probably because I really didn't like a lot of things that I was going through, And now when I see people, I look at what they're going through, or maybe impose some of what I've gone through on them, and it's like, oh wow, that would suck. You know what I mean? And you're starting to really have compassion for that person. So
yeah, I think that I was thinking about this the other day. I am really good at putting myself in other people's shoes and trying to imagine what it would be like to be, living their life. And I think that that's something that a lot of people look past. I've said it 5,000 times today, but they just look on the surface, and see what's on the outside. But if you really, try and imagine and think about what it would be like to live how that person's living, it opens up a totally different part of your brain and a part of your heart as well, where you just want to, give that person so much love and compassion, because that if you were in that situation, you would want the same thing.
Yeah, I think that's beautifully said.
Oh, thanks. Sometimes I don't think I'm very eloquent.
No.
That's why I'm a writer. I'm really good at writing and putting my thoughts down on paper, but a lot of times when I'm trying to just say it out loud and speak it, I think that it doesn't come out very good. So thank you.
Yeah, I like that. I think I think it's extremely valid. And we just need to be more particular with those sorts of scenarios. So what's your future? So you say you're a writer.
Yeah.
Right? We could talk about that for a second. And then the future from there, that point. Are you want to write movies? Want to write books?
Right now, I'm really focused on journalism, but I do also write poetry, although that is very difficult for me to share with people because it's super vulnerable for me. But with my writing that I do with journalism right now, I write for the University Journal, and I love that. It's brought me so much joy, and every day that I'm working, I think I really could see myself doing this for the rest of my life, because it's just something that I enjoy so much, and I love to just talk to and interview a bunch of different people, go to a ton of different events, where there's, again, just all kinds of people there. But I also do love photojournalism, and so I'm trying to find out how I can combine both of those, how I can do both of those, because typically it's two separate positions. You have a reporter or a writer, and then you have a photojournalist. Typically they don't both do that, so I'm trying to figure out how I can mix those two, and right now I'm just doing both of them and trying to build a portfolio where I can do both at the same time, where somebody can see that I'm skilled in both these areas and hire me to do both of them at the same time, because I can do both of them at the same time. I'm very capable of that. And so yeah, I think I'm still trying to figure out where I want to go with it, because I love creative writing. I really love how expressive I can be when I write poetry. And it doesn't always make sense, but it's the feelings that the words convey that mean so much to me. Whereas with journalism, it's a lot more cut and dry, get to the point, and there's not a lot of room left for artistic inspiration or creativity. So I'm trying to find a balance between all three of those things right now.
Nice. I think that you're a package deal then. And most of the news is going into that direction. Like everybody, whenever we do those tours, right? Everybody's doing their own thing. Like they go out there, they write it, they shoot it, and they edit it, and they send it in. Yeah, it's usually one person, so I think you're in the right place.
Yeah, I hope so.
Have you done the news yet?
Like the practicum here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually an anchor right now.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah.
Yes, that's right. How are you finding that?
I love it. It's
Yeah.
so much fun. Yeah, me and my co-star, Katie, we have such a fun time together. And it's just, and I've had people tell me this before when they watch the stream, they say, you're like such a natural at it. And I don't really have, not anymore at least, I don't really have stage fright. I'm fine being in front of a camera. I actually, for better or for worse, I love it. I have so much fun doing it. And so just to be able to, I mean, yeah, be put on television in front of everybody, it's like the coolest thing to me. And I just have, I have such a good time doing it. It's so much fun for me. And it's like, yeah, I've had a laughing fit the other day where I couldn't stop. I had tears streaming down my face. I was laughing so hard I couldn't get the words out. And I got a talking to afterwards by my professor. But, you know, it's a fun thing to do. And it's something different, something I've never done before, something I've only seen, you know, celebrities do. So to me, it's really cool. And yeah, it's something that I really enjoy. For me, I see it as a performance of some kind. You know, I get on in front of the camera and I put on this show for people. You know, maybe this isn't how it's supposed to be, but I view it as I'm supposed to be an entertainer, right? I'm supposed to entertain the people who are watching it. And so that's fun for me.
Yeah, I laugh at myself when I do that job.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really crappy at reading. I'm dyslexic as well, so it takes me a lot to... I sometimes go over some things. So I'm down there with a teleprompter like, good luck.
Right.
But it's like, I'll mess up words, and all I can do is laugh. And I've had some people look at my shows and like, dude, you laugh a lot. It's like, what else can you do? If I didn't laugh, I'd be crying, I promise you.
Right? Yeah.
I like that. I think it's a right pressure cooker, especially for what you're saying, for writing and filming as well. I think that's probably a good place for you to grow. And I think the way how they do the news here too, it's because you're making so many things, VOSOTs and things all the time. It's literally chiseling you into where you need to be for the future anyway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I want to be the same. I've never really been a writer, but every time I sit down to write, it comes out really good. I've had multiple people say that too. So some of the speeches that I've given where I've hardly even touched them up, and I'm thinking, man, there's something not right here. And then I've had a person say, no, you're a good writer. You just need to get writing more. So my downfall is I've not built a rhythm. I don't have the fun for it. Although when I'm in it, it's like, oh wow, this is actually really powerful. So I'm trying, like even in my prayers, man, I pray for that. It's like, please let me find fun in this because I want to be good at it.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I think it'll be helpful for me to get them out of my head, the thoughts, you know?
Yeah, I remember when I took the ACT for the first time, right, the highest score is a 36. For English, I got a 35. For all the other sections, though, especially math and science, tanked it. I think I got like a 12 and a 16.
Oh, wow.
It was, so then obviously that brought my average score down a lot, but I've always been really skilled with writing. It's just all of the other aspects that I lack in, which is fine because I'm a communication major, so hopefully I'll never have to use those again. But yeah, luckily for me, it's something that I have fun with. And I didn't realize until recently, like, oh, people would pay to have me write things. Like, that is still the craziest thing to me. And that people enjoy my writing is so wild, just because I always thought, you know, everybody can write well, anybody can write, but people like the way that I write and they want me to write more. That is like the coolest feeling to me, to have somebody read an article and have them compliment it and know that they enjoy it. I recently had, I did a profile piece on this woman. Her name is Marissa Lynn Bone, and she owns a magazine in Utah. It's the first fashion magazine that's been done in Utah. And so I got into contact with her, and I was able to interview her and do this profile piece on her for my blog that I'm writing. And she reached out to me after I sent her the article, and she said, wow, like, this is amazing. This is incredible. If you would ever want to write for the magazine, she said, we can't pay right now, but I'm super willing to be a mentor to you and to have you write for this. And I said, you want my writing in your magazine? Like, that's crazy. And I've had a couple instances like that just like, I mean, I have like this out of body experience because it's just so wild to me, and I'm so grateful for it. Yeah.
I have some friends that are writers. I have a few down in LA. I have a couple up in Salt Lake City. This one particular person in particular, they wrote a book, and all they do now is ghostwrite for people, and they don't hold nothing to a conversation you bring, and they've been doing it for over 10 years. You know what I mean? So it's like, and they're very, very like, they have a $400,000 house. You know what I mean? It's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they live in Draper, and they never had nothing before that. So writing is extremely powerful. Once you get rolling, you'll be good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just stop doing 18 credits here and just do it on the side.
Right?
Right? That's the other thing. People doing all these credits, man. It's like, dude, just relax and enjoy school a little bit. You know, some people come through and they bang it out real quick. You on 18 credits right now? Is that what's going on? Yeah.
Wow. But I love it because for me, it's like I never have a dull moment. I'm always doing something.
Yeah.
And it's something that I love. Like, I love going out to these events and filming different packages and VOSOTs for the news. I love going to the events and, you know, interviewing people and photographing them and writing them. Like, these are the things that I'm most passionate about that are in the classes that I'm taking. So for me, taking 18 credits really works out for me because it's things that I love and things that I enjoy.
So you're leveraging your passions in that point. Oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that, you know, I can't do 18 credits because I got 2 little boys.
Sure.
On me, you know what I mean? Like I keep trying. I always have that, and it's like I'm 3 weeks and I'm like, okay, drop classes. I need to get out of this. This is ridiculous. I can't survive.
Yeah.
And right now, I need this to be somewhat fun for me because you know, everything else is so hard. So yeah, can we just explain, just for the people that are trying to write out there, for me especially, like I'm trying to write, what should I do? Like how do I even start? Going from nothing at all, I'm not disciplined, I'm more disciplined at eating Cheerios than sitting down to write something. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? What would you suggest?
Well, there's all different kinds of writing, and they all require a different skill set and a different mindset. Like if we're talking about poetry, I mean, you just have to, again, it doesn't really matter what the words say because poetry is all about feeling and it's about conveying emotions through words. So I wrote something the other day that makes no sense, but to me, the feeling that I get when I read it is something so amazing. Whereas if you're doing journalism, I mean, it's important to know how to be concise with your words, to convey a message, because now people don't want to sit down and read a huge news story. You know, they want it quick. They want you to get straight to the point. And so you have to convey the event that's happening, you have to paint a picture of the emotions in the atmosphere, the environment that was there while still doing the news. So it's really important to be able to be concise with your words and to be able to get a message across really when you're doing the news. I think it's just a lot of practice. And then also with journalism, you know, there's a certain specific style that you have to write in, right? The Associated Press style. So you have to study those books to know how to write professionally. Because, I mean, especially if you're looking to work for a firm of sorts or you're looking to be employed under somebody else, you're going to need those skills. You're going to have that knowledge because, you know, there's so many other people that know how to write professionally. And if you don't have it, you know, that's going to be kind of a toss-up regardless of how good your writing is, because there's certain things that you have to know in order to be published. And I think just don't think about it too seriously, though. You know, it's important to enjoy what you're doing and to make the pieces that you're writing yours. Especially, you know, if you're not writing so much for like hard news, but if you're writing more for a feature story, to insert your personality into your writing, because that's what's gonna, you know, catch people's attention. That's what's gonna cause them to keep wanting to read your articles specifically, is the language that you use and how you address certain things. It's just so important to make it yours, to have your own unique voice and to put it out there for people to hear.
I'll add to that. So what you're saying is the way you speak is the way you should write. In a sense, especially if you're referring to someone as you as a person, right? What about the nuts and bolts of it? Like, let's just say we're going from nothing to get into anything. We don't know about genres yet. We don't really care. Is there, like, I'm led to believe you need to make the time.
Yeah.
You need to create the time, create the environment, and control that as best you can.
Also, a really important thing is to share your work, share what you're doing. Because I remember when I first started out, especially with poetry, I was so nervous to tell people about it, because it's a vulnerable thing that you're writing, and especially just to be critiqued. But that's so important to have other people look at and listen to your writing, because that's how you learn, you know? Especially if you're going to be writing for an audience, which I'm assuming most people are. It's important to share your work and to receive feedback on that, and to really listen to that feedback. You know, in writing, especially with editing, I think a lot of people take things really personally, and they think that it's attack on them and their writing style. But the editor, usually, if it's a good editor, they're just trying to help you improve and to help you find your voice while still effectively communicating. So it's definitely important to share your work with other people. And it is going to be like terrifying at the beginning. Even I remember in class when we still share our blog posts, I can feel my face and my cheeks get all red, because it's nerve-wracking to read something in front of a bunch of people and to be that vulnerable. But it's such an important part of the process. So, you know, it's obviously in this digital age, a lot of the work that we're going to be putting out will be behind a screen. But once you really start getting up into the world of writing, you know, there's going to be a face attached to that, and you're going to want to read your work out vocally. So it's important to not be ashamed of what you're writing, because it is good. I promise you it is good. It can always be better, but it's not going to be terrible.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I just did a writing class, but I actually had to drop it through it because of all my craziness.
Sure.
But like they sort of laid out paths. Are you a regular sit down? I sit down at 7 o'clock in the morning and I sit there for 2 hours and I write. Is there a certain time of day when you do it?
So I do keep a personal journal a lot. I definitely don't have a set time that I would write it at, just because that's not the way that my life is built right now. But typically just because I plan out my whole entire week on Sunday, I know for the most part all of the events and all the things that I'm going to be going to. And so if I can find a time, you know, I would love for it to be every day. Usually it's not every day, but just a couple or a few times a week, even if it's just half an hour, I can just go to a quiet place and just listen to music and write. That is so valuable to me. And I think that keeping a personal journal is so important, because I look back on my journals and it's like watching my life again, you know, and just to be able to see how much I've progressed and how much I've grown. I remember when I was 13, I hated myself, and I would write journals about that. I go look back and I'm like, nobody likes you, like you're ugly, all this stuff. Whereas to see just the comparison to now and the evolution of that over time is so amazing. Also, I'm just a very forgetful person in general. I don't have a great memory. And so having a journal for me is so important, because that it like triggers my brain, you know, and I can all of a sudden, once I read these words that I wrote, I can remember how I felt. I remember where I was, how the environment was, the people who were in my life at that time. And I just love it. I think it's super fun to go and write. And I always write it as if I'm writing to somebody else, you know, or if I'm writing to the diary itself. So I think it's fun. So
what I'm hearing out of you is it's a challenge, right? Mm-hmm. So the challenge would be for everyone out there that's listening, and that is if there's a little glimmer of hope that you might write something, keep a journal.
Yeah.
So now, I've never done this. I've tried a couple times. I'll write my goals down all day long. Like I've got notepads and notepads of just all the things that I want, that I'm going for, that I'm after it, what I'm willing to pay for it. I've got all that, but I've never done a journal. What do you just write, like, today this happened and that also, what do you write?
I do. I always like to set it up. So I write at the cemetery a lot. I don't know why. It's just a very tranquil place for me. And so I'll write, you know, it's 3:16 p.m. and I'm at the cemetery and I'm listening to the magnetic fields, and this is what's going on in my life right now. You know, the other day, actually, I went and I just wrote a list of all my friends. I wrote all their names and then either things that we've done together or qualities about them, just because I want to be able to look back on that in like 10 years and just see all these people. So there's a lot of different things that I write about. I write journals on songs that I really like. I'll just write poetry in my journal. I'll go through the events of my day. If something really cool happens, you know, I'll write that down. Or if I'm really struggling with something, I'll write that down. For me, journalism and keeping a personal journal is a way to cope with my emotions. It's a kind of therapy for me.
Yeah.
And so it just helps so much, especially when I'm going through a difficult time, to get those thoughts and feelings out of my head and down on paper. Or when I'm super, super excited about something and I'm just like gonna explode with happiness, I'm like, let me just go write down all of this right now. And I like to really paint pictures with my journals and be super vivid about them because, like, again, I have a bad memory. And so to be able to go back and remember all those things is so awesome. So I use it as a form of therapy and like a little membrol, a little place where I can keep all my memories.
How interesting. I like this. So yeah, just go out there and try. We should all put it together and see what we can come up with, huh? I like this. I'm going to give it a whirl. I'll see how it goes over
And
summertime.
it's a sacrifice, like to be able to, because I mean, I've had times where I sit down and I journal for 2 hours, or sometimes it's 15 minutes. And it's a sacrifice of your time, but in my opinion, it is so worth it.
Are you a keyboard journaler?
No,
or are you a writer?
I'm paper and pen.
Yes. I'm somewhat in between. I am not really good at keyboards, although I'm not bad. I just got to believe in myself better. And at the same token, like I have a little, for one of my iPads, I have a keyboard that's really, really clicky. And I love it. It's so cheap.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, I wish it was bigger, but it's like small and it's like click, 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 click. I'm like, yes, I like this.
Yeah,
this is like, I'm doing sweat right now. You know, I'm doing stuff. So that kind of has inspired me a little bit, and I do write little things. I mean, I'll even write like, I'll go out of my way every now and then if I call them like snippets, right? I don't know if that's the right name to call them, but I call it snippets. But if I get inspired by something, there's if you go down this hallway, there's a doorway going back out that way, and you're going outside, right? If you come in that way, there's a middle section where there's a heater, and I think that heater is from the 80s. And it literally looks like a back end of a Ferrari, Ferrari Testarossa. And every time I see that, I write something about it.
Yeah.
It just inspires me because
it's cool.
The rear louvers at the top is like, man, if you were red, you'd be having a Ferrari sign right there. Like, I want to come in and do it. Just gonna paint it and then put it done because it looks like it. But I see things like that and I write about those little things. That's how I've introduced myself into writing, and I've been doing that for probably about 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
So I got lots of little crazy stories. I mean, even if I meet someone, I'll just say what I think about them or whatever the case is and break it down that too, you know? I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We're at the end of our show.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy crap. Okay.
Yeah, we really are.
Feels like we've been here for 20 minutes.
Is there anything you would like to say out there, a message or whatever, anything? Come to see your show on Monday.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Come to see your show. So it's
in the Black Box at SEU at 7:45 p.m.
Does it cost us money? No money exchanged. How good's that?
Yeah, right?
We should all go check this out because it's going to be a fun one. And what's the show?
So it's Romeo and Juliet. It's the excerpt from the complete works of William Shakespeare, abridged, revised again. So it's a quick, comedic, fast interpretation of Romeo and Juliet.
And is it next Monday at what time?
7:45 p.m.
7:45 p.m. We will be there.
Awesome.
I will make sure of it. The kids will love that.
It's a fun show.
I do have one other question for you.
Oh, sure.
And it can do with anything. First thing that comes to mind. It's about life, whatever the case is. And the question is, what makes the difference?
The first thing that comes to my head is love. I think that love makes the difference in every single scenario. Whether it's somebody or some situation, something that you're frustrated with, love them, love the situation, accept them, accept the time that you're in and what you're going through in your life. Because if you spend your time hating people, hating situations, it's not going to do anything for anybody. If we can put out more love into the world, that is what is going to make the difference.
Brooklyn, you're awesome. Thank you, Spence. I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I've known you for a hot second, and you've impacted our world in so many brilliant ways. My boys thought I cooked Mexican food, which I do. You came over and cooked Mexican food, and the boys were like, "You've got to step your game up." You know what I mean? Like you got everything going. It was a beautiful thing. You bring light everywhere you go.
Thank
I
you.
love the way how
to.
people interact with you, and I think it's a good thing for the future. So thanks for being on the show.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks for having me.
Thanks everyone for listening in. I really do appreciate it. And show me love. Let's go.